Well, after 8 years of wearing a smartwatch, I finally stopped wearing one for the last month. And it is something I definitely don't recommend. I've never missed out on so many phone calls. I now have to check my phone all the time just to see why it vibrated or what the notification was that went off. And then I have no idea where my fitness goals are. I don't know how many steps I've taken and so on because I don't have all that access right on my wrist. Thanks to today's sponsor, Best Buy, we're going to be checking out the new Samsung Galaxy Watch and Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. These are both available at Best Buy with in-store pickup or fast delivery. And right now there's also a $40 off holiday promo going on. Link will be in the description below. Now, before we begin, both of these devices do have different size option as well as color option. And then on the back here, these are the LTE versions, but they also have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and GPS. There are versions as well that do not have the LTE built in. Then these watches are compatible with any Android device with Android 6.0 or newer, or 1.5 gig of RAM. They are not compatible with iOS devices. So first, starting off with the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4. Here we have this really nice looking watch. I love the clean design and this more sporty band. And this one is the 44mm model. And then here we have the Samsung Galaxy Watch Classic, which is the 46mm model. And it has a little bit different design where you have a rotating bezel right here on the face, where that makes it easy to quickly scroll through different notifications on your phone. That is on the Watch 4 with a touch screen. They also come with a USB wireless charger as well. Not only will they work on the provided wireless charging dock here, but they will work with other compatible wireless chargers like the Samsung Trio. Now, both models are weather resistant and do have ECG tracking, fitness tracking, heart rate monitors, and so on. So now that they're charged up, let's go ahead and get them turned on. So up here on the top, we have our power button, and down on the bottom, we have the back button. So we just hold down the power and they will boot up. They vibrate when they turn on. And while these are booting up, make sure that on your phone, you do have the Samsung Galaxy Wearable App downloaded. You'll also need the Samsung Health app to track some of the fitness features. So here, while they're booting up, I'm just going to head into the Galaxy Wearable App. You can see that I already have some Galaxy Buds I've been using, but we're just going to select the menu and select Add New Device. And then you'll see the new devices pop up here in the menu. Here you can see there is a code, so I could actually tell the difference between these two. The J1ER is right here, so we're going to tap on that to connect to this watch. And here it's asking to confirm the code. And now we're going to complete the setup on our phone. I will be pairing this with another phone just so I can show you a few features. So here it says, for our review, do we want to send diagnostic information? Optional. I'm just going to select continue. We need to agree to Google's terms of service because one new thing with the Galaxy Watch 4 is it no longer runs on Samsung's Wearable OS Tizen. It is now using Google software, Wear OS, for this, which I'm real excited about the changes there because then that adds Google services to the watch. Next, we're going to link our Google account. So here it's showing my correct account. I could choose another account if I need to. And then we need to verify with fingerprint or whatever form of verification you have on your phone. Next, it's asking if we want to restore any information from a previous watch we may have had. So if I select next, we'll see if it found any backups. So here it is asking if I want to restore any information from the Galaxy Watch Active I was using, but I'm just going to go ahead and skip that right now and set it up fresh. Now, because I do have the LTE model, it's asking if I want to add a mobile plan, but right now I am going to skip that as well. All right, now the app is set up. So here it is then going to take us through a tour on the watch. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to select start. Now, if we swipe down from the top, it's going to open our quick panel. So that's how we can get to our settings very quickly. Then if we swipe up, that's going to take us back to our home screen here. On the home screen, we can then swipe up, and then it's going to take us to all of the different apps we have on our phone. And then if we swipe down, and then it's going to take us back to the home page. And then if we swipe from the left, that's going to take us to our notifications, and we can tap on a notification to read through it and see what it's about. And we can then scroll through and see more tips and other things. And we can scroll back this way to the home screen. And there we're on the home screen. Now we have what are called tiles. So if we swipe to the left, we have different tiles. So we have daily activities and other things that we can add. We can check our fitness and so on. So if we press the home button right here, it will then take us back to our home screen and we are ready to go. When you turn on your Galaxy Watch 4, you may also see a pop-up on your Samsung phone and you can connect that way as well. And you may ask to update Google Play services. And the last thing it is telling us for setup is that this orange dot over here, that means there is a notification. So you can just swipe over and there you see the notification. If you tap on it, it's going to give you more details. And here we can select show on phone, or we can simply clear it. The other option is if we see a notification here and we want to dismiss that, we can just simply swipe up and that notification will go away. And here I have a bunch of missed calls. I'm going to swipe up. And now that has been removed, we can swipe back to go to our home screen here. So now let me show you that both of these do have the option to quickly swap out these bands. They are interchangeable and they have this quick release where I just simply press there and they pop off like that. So you can get different styles and different sizes. When I want to put it back on, I put the pin in one side and push the pin with my fingernail until it locks back into place. So let's go ahead, put these on. So here with the Galaxy Watch 4, it has this style where I simply choose my size and then I slide it in the bottom here. And then here with the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, it has a more classic style of connector. And slide it in there. So that's one difference between the two. The next difference is the Classic has a actual physical rotating bezel around the outside here that I can use. So you can kind of hear it click, pretty satisfying there. But the Watch 4 only has a touchscreen bezel. So I can still do the same thing, but I just need to use my finger around the outside border to swipe through, where here it has the physical bezel there. But they both have the same features and everything else is the same. They can both swipe down and do everything that you would want them to do. Now they also have this feature called always on display. So when I put these to sleep by placing my palm on them, here you can see that this one is still showing a clock where this one is not, and that's because the always on display is turned on. I can simply turn that on right here. And when I lock this, it's now going to show the time even though the watch is not actively working. So it's going to drain your battery life a tiny bit, but it's cool that you can always have the watch face on there. So those are the differences between these two. So really nothing other than the physical bezel here and the style of the watch. So now let me walk you through a few more settings that we have here. So one of them, if we do want to wake the watch, we can simply just look at the clock and it will turn on the watch, and that works with or without the always on display. So there the watch is sleeping, we lift it up, and then it's going to turn on the display. Now before I start showing you all the different features of the watch, let's go ahead and show you what happens when you receive a phone call. So here you can see I'm receiving the phone call on my phone, and over here on the watch, I can hear it's ringing, and I can simply swipe up on the answer button, and now I am talking through the watch. So the call actually comes through here, and they can hear me on the other end. I can simply mute myself. I can also change the volume of the call if I want to. So there's another place the bezel comes in handy. And then I also have the option to switch this to the phone. So if I'm done talking on the watch, I can switch it over here to the phone. And now I'm talking through the phone. And on the watch, it does show a little phone icon down here. I can tap on that. I can then end the call. I could move it back to the watch. And then when I'm all done with my phone call, I can simply end the call right there. So really cool that you have so many features with calling on here. And that's one of the reasons I've been missing so many phone calls, because I haven't been able to see who's calling me right there. Sometimes I don't even feel the vibration going on my phone. So I can now see that on my wrist. And then I do have the options where if you don't like the volume, you can simply turn it to vibrate right there. Or I could have it be a silent notification, but you might miss a few that way. I think the vibrate is going to work just fine. So now that we've answered a phone call, let me show you some of the other settings. If we swipe down from the top, here we have our quick settings. So we can do all kinds of things like turn on sleep mode, turn it off. Next we have settings. So here we can change our connections, notifications, sound and vibrations, display, advanced features like water lock, bedtime mode, theater mode, SOS, customizing, just so many different things that you can do with this. You have battery, apps, general accessibility. Let's go in there real quick. So here we do have the option to turn on talkback, visibility enhancements, hearing enhancements, advanced settings. So we can adjust the vibration, how long that is, and so on. We have security, privacy, location, account backup, software update. Looks like I have one available. And then you can see more tips and tutorials there. Always on display, change from volume to mute or sound. We have a flashlight on here. When we turn on the flashlight, it's going to brighten up the screen. So that would be handy at nighttime. And you can also use the bezel to change the brightness. And we can push the back there to go back home. We have do not disturb, brightness, battery saver, movie theater mode, Wi-Fi. Here we have what's called water lock. So with water lock, if you're going to go in the water, because this is water resistant, it makes it so you can't touch the display underwater. And then when you're done with the water, you can hold down the button here. It will turn off the water lock and eject the water with the sound that it plays. And then you do need to kind of shake out the water in the watch. And so that is the water lock. Last, we have airplane mode. Next, we have Bluetooth headphones. So you can actually pair this directly to headphones so that you can listen to headphones on a run with just the watch, and you don't need your phone nearby, which is pretty cool. Here we have Find My Phone. So if you can't find your phone and you're connected over Bluetooth, I can touch this button and there it vibrates and turns on my phone so that I can then find where it is at. Next, we have location settings. So this is going to be enabled when you're doing fitness tracking and other features. And then last here, we have a feature called touch sensitivity. So if you're wearing gloves, you can actually turn this on and that will help you continue to use your watch if you are wearing gloves. And then you do have a few more you can add where you can turn on and off the mobile data if you have LTE. And if you want to turn on NFC or turn that off, that is also available. That lets you use Android Pay to pay at NFC supported terminals with your watch, which is really neat. So those are the quick settings. Next, if we swipe up, we have our different apps. So all of these apps were pretty much pre-installed, but you can go to the Play Store on your watch and then download more of these apps. So right here is the Play Store. So I can tap there and I can scroll through and see all the different applications that are available for my watch. So I've gone through and found some of my favorites that I want to add and added them. And once you download them, they will then just show up here at the bottom. And if I want to organize these, so here I downloaded the Google Messages app. So I can move that to the top by holding down and dragging up. And now that is up here at the top of the screen. And I can simply tap on that to respond to messages. And I'm going to set this as my default SMS app. Just like that. Set as default. So there's a bunch of different apps that you can use for texting and whatever. And so there you can see all of my text messages. Now this little icon right here, this allows you to see your recent apps. You can go through and see all the different apps that I've recently been in. I can close those all and so on. So a lot of cool things that we have here on the watch. And there you go. I just received a notification from Facebook. So that is popping up. So if I go back to the home screen, swipe over, there we can see my notification. So if I tap on the notification, it's then going to give me some more info. And let's say I don't want to see Facebook notifications on my watch. Well, it's really easy. I can just simply block notifications. So once I click block, I'm no longer going to receive notifications from Facebook on my watch. And I really like to use the watch to kind of limit what notifications I'm seeing, just getting the most important notifications. Now next, let's talk about sending and receiving text messages from the Watch 4. First, I do want to show you some settings. So if we go into the notifications area, and when there's no notifications, select the settings, we have a few different things here. The first one is we can show notifications on the watch when we are using the phone. So right now I have it set to when the phone is not in use. So you're not going to receive both messages in both places. And then you have show alerts even when the phone is in use. So that's if you want them on both at both times. I don't want that. So we're going to keep it that way. Then you have mute notifications on phone. So it wouldn't notify over there. Next, you have do not disturb. Here we have notification indicator. So that's going to tell you if you have new notifications. Next, you have the read notifications aloud when headphones are connected. And then we have show details. So when the message pops up, you could have it automatically show parts of the message, or you can just have this option turned on where it's going to turn on the screen and show you what the message is, so you don't have to interact with the watch just to see who is texting you. And then here you can have turn on notifications for new apps. I have all the apps I want set up with this, so I'm not going to do that. And so that is the settings there. So now let's go ahead and put the phone to sleep. And let's say I get a new message. So here it's automatically popping up that I do have a message. And then if I tap on it, it's going to give me more info like when will I be home. If you want to see that, again, go back to your notifications. You can clear them and then tap the settings and then turn on this show details. And now when you receive a text message, it will show that message and then it will show the thread here so you can see what the message is. Now to respond, I have a lot of options. I can do by voice. I can send a voice memo. I can send a emoji. I have the option to write out the message with the finger. I can use a T9 keyboard, and then I can also send the message to my phone and it will open the app so that I can respond. Or down here, I have some preset messages that I am able to use. And you can even do other things like send your location and call or even block a contact. So let's go ahead and do voice to text. I'm doing great. So there it heard doing great. We can send that. If we want to send a voice message, it is beginning to record what I want to say. And then when I'm done, I just push send. It then sends that in a audio file. And then I have the option to send an emoji. I can choose a category and then I can send that over. Here, if I want to write out my message, I can do it one word at a time. And it works pretty well. I can use the keyboard. Send a phone, and then I can send a custom preset message that I set up in the application. So that is how you can text somebody. And here you can see on their phone what the messages look like, just like a normal text thread. If we want to hear the voice memo. A voice message, it is beginning to record what I want to say. And then when I am done, I just put. And so that was all recorded from the watch and sent over. Makes it really easy to communicate with somebody. Now, if I wanted to text them back, I could go into the messages app here and you can see my recent thread where I can then simply tap on those and respond to the thread. And I can kind of see what the message thread was that is on my phone. Or I can go to a contact in a tile like here, and I can respond with the message icon here and send a message back. So at the top, you got your settings. At the bottom, you have your apps. We have our notifications here on the left. But now let's go to the right. Here we have different tiles. So here it's showing that I've taken a bunch of steps. I've done 12 active minutes, and I think that's burned 70 calories. So that's kind of a cool tile. Then we have these other ones where I can quickly start working out. This one's talking about body composition. So next we have sleep tracking. So one cool thing is if you do sleep with this, it will automatically detect that you're sleeping, and then it will update you on your sleep patterns right there. Here we have local weather. We have our calendar for the day. Next we have the ECG. So if I want to record ECG, I can select learn more, and then it needs permissions to use this feature. And then we also need to download the Samsung Health app on the phone. Now that we have the app installed, it's asking which wrist we have our watch on. So mine is on the left. And it is saying that you should have your watch a little bit higher. Select OK. And now I'm going to touch lightly on the top here. And there it's saying I have sinus rhythm. The ECG does not show signs of atrial fibrillation. So there you go. That's how you do that. And now it's going to record that over here on our phone so that we have the details of that, and it's going to sync that here. So that is how you test your ECG. And then if we want to do heart rate, we can simply press measure. There it's going to test our heart rate. And currently at 86, a little high, and stress and so on. So then at the end, you have options to add new tiles. So you can have up to 9 different tiles. And as you scroll through here, you can see that there are all kinds of different tiles. There's different Google Fit tiles. So these are kind of like the widgets on your phone, but for tiles. So let's go ahead and add this step tracker. So I just tap on it and it adds it on here. If you want to remove any of these, you just hold down and then you have the option to push the minus there and it will remove those. You can also move the place in which it is. So if you want it further closer to the beginning, you can do that and so on. So that's the tiles, ton of different trackers and things there. Now next, let's check out how to adjust our home screen here. So if we simply hold down on the home screen, we have the option to adjust our home page. So this is a Google Fit homepage you can use, which is pretty cool. We can do the same style we had over there on the Classic, more classic style looking watch. And there are just a ton of different watch faces that you can use. And with any of these, let's say I want to just keep what I have, I can also choose the customize button. So here it gives me the option to customize color, style, and other features. So if I hit customize, I can then use the bezel to change the color. So maybe I didn't like that orange. I can go to a color that's a bit more fitting. There we go. All right, maybe I like a little more blue there. We have that option. Then if I swipe over, then I have the option to change what the complication is. So I can have it be 2 dots. And then down here, I can scroll through and have it be a certain exercise and so on. So right now it's set to running. So let's just go ahead and keep that at running. So now whenever I tap this, it's automatically going to start my run. And then when I'm done, I can just simply hold down the button to stop the run. So there it has started the run and we can turn on our music and so on. So I'm going to swipe over, push pause, or I can swipe over and select finish. And that's how you can record a run here on the watch. So then there was one other option here. So we have all these watch faces this way, but I can also scroll this way and select edit on my phone. So what that's going to do is then pop up the app customizer where I can then adjust the settings all on my phone and really customize everything here instead of doing it over here on the watch. Now let me show you how you can adjust all the settings of the watch right here on the Galaxy Wearable app. Now I showed you can pretty much do everything on the watch itself, but sometimes it's nicer to have the bigger screen. So here we can head into the Galaxy Wearable app. Right now it's telling us current battery life and so on. I have been using this a lot and I did a bunch of updates since I started this video. Next, we have the option right here to get that mobile data plan started for the watch if you have LTE, but I'm not going to do that right now, so I'm just going to select not now. So here we can tap on tips and we can learn all about different things that the watch can do. If we go down here, we have the option for watch faces. So just like on the watch, if we wanted to change a face, we can do it there by holding down, but now I can just simply tap and it will adjust the watch face over here. So you can change it without having to look through the smaller screen on the watch there. And so you can see it has all the same options. There's some really fun different ones here that are available. As you can see, they are animated over here, which makes it really fun. And then let's go ahead and choose a very simple one with just a basic watch face and a picture on the background. Now right here, I do have the option to customize that. So maybe I want to put my own background there, I can do that. So what we want to do is just select the gallery and I'm going to choose a new photo of all of the kids hanging out in their new Christmas jammies. Darling right there. And so I can increase the brightness of it. I can adjust some of the colors and so on. Select done. And now once that has been saved, select done. And now I can select save, and it's going to then show that over here. So you really have a lot of watch face customizations with your own. Now, as you can see, it's covering up one of the kids there. So I can come in here and I could choose a different clock type. So maybe I wanted to move the clock in a different position. I am able to do that. And here you can add all kinds of different complication. So meaning different add-ons to the watch face. So you can really customize what shortcuts you have on the watch face. Here you can see that there's all kinds of ways to customize this watch to exactly what you want it to do, which is really awesome. Now, one of the watch faces I've used in the past was this health dashboard, which I really like. And then here it is asking to have access to different sensors, and it does need to download and install that. So we're gonna go ahead and do that just because it is such a good watch face to give me all the health information I need. It tells me how many active minutes I've had, how many steps, and so on. Okay, the watch face is installed, so now I just tap on it and it shows up over here. And as you can see, there's just lots of things. Tells me the day, the weather, how many steps I've taken, my beats per minute right now for my heart rate, the UV rating, as well as my steps for the day. And I can tap to start my workout as well. So that's all the watch face customizations. Next, let's head into app screen. So just like we have the app screen by swiping up, here we have the app screen as well. And I can actually customize the order. So maybe I want to move my calculator up to the top. So we're going to move that right here where the contacts was. And if I swipe up, and then I click save, and then you can see it adjusts over here. So you can organize it if it's a little easier to do that here on the phone. Next, we have the tiles. So if you want to organize and look at all the tiles you have here, you can do that as well. And then here you can see the different tiles that are available down here. This one down here called Together is actually really cool because when you open the Samsung Health app, which is this app right here, the first time, you verify your phone number. If you have other friends that are using a Galaxy Watch as well, you can create competitions with them on how many steps you do in a day. And there's some other fun, unique things you can do with the Together portion of the Watch 4. So you can just tap the Together tab, and then here you can add your different friends. And here it's asking if you allow it to connect with your contacts. So here we're going to connect, and it's showing other people that do use this, and I can invite my friends and connect with them and create different challenges and so on. So that's how you can adjust the tiles. And then here you have the quick panel. So again, if you want to move these in any order, you can just hold down and then drag it to where you want it to go. And with an update, a new one called Volume did show up. And I really like how it's just a little bit bigger, easier to see than maybe it is over there to organize. And just like the settings there, we have all the watch settings that we can adjust here. We then have Find My Watch. So if you do misplace your watch, you can simply tap Find My Watch. It will then open the SmartThings app, and you will need to download SmartThings Find. Now that we have that installed, let's go ahead and select Find My Watch. And there it pulled up the Watch 4. It says its current location, and I can navigate to it. I can also select Ring, and it is then going to ring the watch so that I can find it. And this should work as long as the phone has battery. You should be able to find it if you have lost it. And lastly, we do have Store. So this is a Play Store in which we can download compatible apps for our Galaxy Watch 4. So if you don't find a watch face you like, you can come in here and you can find all kinds of other watch faces to download. And there's really just a ton of different options available. Now there's just a few more features that I want to show you what the Watch 4 can do. Now, if it's asleep, you can just push a button at any time to wake it up. And the top button here is the home button, but if you do hold that down, it will also turn on Bixby. So I can then talk to Bixby and ask Bixby to do different things. So then Bixby is able to download all kinds of different features and settings and other applications that you can essentially use. So then down here, if you hold down the back button, it will activate Samsung Pay. So Samsung Pay is Samsung's mobile payment system that allows you to add a debit or credit card here, and then you can use your watch to pay over NFC. So all you have to do is hold that down, choose the card, and then hover it over NFC terminal, and it will pay. So let's go ahead and set that up. You do need to have Samsung Pay installed on your phone. Here we need to add a card or import a card. So I've already activated some cards using Samsung Pay. So let's go ahead and activate this card. And once we have verified our card, now when we hold down the back button, there it is showing, and we can simply tap to pay, which is pretty awesome to have. So easy to, instead of having to pull out my phone, it's all right here. And now I am all set up to receive all of those phone calls right on my wrist. I won't miss any. I'm also able to have all of the notifications I want on my wrist. Now I have my phone set up to do different notifications, so not every single one comes to my watch. So I like how the watch just gives me the most important notifications. And now I'm able to keep track of my fitness. I can check my steps and start my workouts all from my watch. And it is so simple and easy to use. Now, if you have any further questions about the Watch 4 or the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, let me know in the comments below. And if you would like to check out more details about these devices and get one that is perfect for you or a gift for somebody, check out the links in the description below that will take you to Best Buy so that you can get that great promo that is going on right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.